This is Pre-Algebra lesson 4.1, divisibilities and factors. Divisibility and factors. An integer. What does the word integer mean? You should know this word. What does the word integer mean? Nobody besides Jack knows what integer means? Brad, what does integer mean? Whole number, right? The problem is that when you hear integer, whole number, what does that imply? Why not just say whole number? Why integer? What changed? Once you started doing integers, you didn't start doing integers until last year. What changed? What was the...
It's divisible.
No. What changed? Nope. Negatives, right? So whole numbers, generally when you were, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, whole numbers because, you're dealing with all positives. Once we start dealing with negatives, you call them integers, okay? Whole numbers can be both positive and negative. Now, an integer is divisible by another if the remainder is 0 when you divide. In other words, to be divisible means that you can be divided evenly. What does that mean, evenly, into something else? What does that mean, Jack, to be divided evenly?
It's not have any remainders.
No remainders, right? So, is 100 divisible by 10? Is 100 divisible by 10?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because there's no remainder.
Because when you divide 100 by 10, the answer is 10. It's not 10 and something. It's just 10. Is 50 divided by, is 50 divisible by 25?
Yes.
Why? Because 25 goes into 50 evenly. And you'd say another way of saying that is that when you divide 50 divided by 25, the answer is 2. Just a whole number, right? That's what divisible means, is that when you divide it by a number, there's no remainder, okay? So here's just some of the rules that I know you've done in the past. I know you did this in 5th grade because I've had children who went through here. And so I'm going to go over this really quick with you. How do you know if a big, huge number is divisible by 10? How do you know if a big, huge number is divisible by 10? A big number, 8,724,930,724,930. How do you know if a number is divisible by 10? What's a rule, Gigi? If the ones place is a 0. If the ones place is a 0, then what do you know is true? It's divisible by 10. That's the quick and easy looking at it. Now, what about 5? How do you know if a number is divisible by 5? What if it was like this and there was a 3 here? How do you know if any number, big, small, whatever, is divisible by 5? Kyla? If the ones place has a 0 or a 5, right? 5. What are the multiples of 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They all end in 0 or 5, right? So if the number's ones place is a 0 or a 5, it's divisible by 5. Okay? How do you know if a number is divisible by 2? How do you know if a number is divisible by 2, Brad? It's an even number. What's even mean? What's even? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 40, right? If the ones place ends in a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0, then you know that it is divisible by 2. That's all you have to do. So tell me right here. Let's look at this. Is that number divisible by, are we all up here with me? Is this number here divisible by 10?
No.
Why not?
Because
the what?
Because
the ones place is a 3, not a 0. Okay. Is this number divisible by 5? No. Why not? Because the ones place is not a 0 or a 5. Is this number divisible by 2? No. How do you know? Because the ones place is not 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. Right? So that's simple. Okay. What about this then? How do you know if a number is divisible by 3? What can you do to tell if a number is divisible by 3, Amy?
You can add up all the digits and then see if it's divisible.
Add up all the numbers and see if that number is divisible by 3. It's one of those weird little quirks. So what is 8 plus 7? 15 plus 2 is 17, 21, 30, 33, 36. Is 36. Now here's the deal. Look, what happens if you get a big number like that and you get another big number? So you go, I'm adding up to 36. How do you know if 36 is divisible by 3? You know what you could do? You could add up these two numbers as well, which is 9. Is 9 divisible by 3? Yes. Therefore, it is divisible by 3. But you also should know that 36 divided by 12 is 3, right? So that it is, when you add all the digits, if they add up to a number that is divisible by 3, then it's divisible by 3. That's just one of the weird, funky rules about 3. What about 9? How do you know if a number is divisible by 9? Jade? How do you know? Nope. How do you know, Sheena? If the sum of all the digits is divisible by 9. So you can figure out 3 and 9 the same way. When you add them all up, you got to see if it's divisible by 9. What do these things add up to? 36. Is 36 divisible by 9? Yes, it is. Therefore, it is divisible by 9. If a number is divisible by 9, it's guaranteed to be divisible by 3 because 3 is a factor of 9. Does that make sense? Okay. But just because it's divisible by 3 does not mean, like if all of a sudden if this was a 0 here, that means that this would add up to 33. Is this number divisible by 3?
Yes.
How do you know? Because, how do you know that it's divisible by 3?
33 is
Because 33 is divisible by 3. When you add it up, 33 is divisible by 3. That makes it divisible by 3. Is this number divisible by 9?
no.
Why not? Because, be specific, because 33 is not divisible by 9. Right? Does it all make sense? Okay. How do you know, and they don't even talk about this, I don't think, yeah. Do you want to know how you know, so how can you tell if a number is divisible by 6? There's a way to do 6. How do you tell if a number is divisible by 6?
You add them all up and then you divide
Nope.
Isn't it like if it's even or divisible by 3?
Yes, here's the deal. If it's a number, if this number here is divisible by 3 and it's also divisible by 2, then it's divisible by 6. I'll say it again. If this number is divisible by 3 and by 2, that means it's going to be divisible by 6. Now here's the deal. How do you do that then? It's real simple. You do the normal one, like, is it divisible by 3? And then you also see if it's, how do you tell really quick if it's divisible by 2? See if it's an even number. So if it's an even number that's divisible by 3, that means it's divisible by
6.
6.
That's not divisible by 6.
This is divisible by 6. No question. Because it adds up to 33. That means, is it divisible by 3?
Yes.
Yes. Is it also divisible by 2? Is this number divisible by 2?
Yes.
How do you know?
It's even.
Because it's an even number. Therefore, it's divisible by 6. Does that make sense? It's that simple. Okay. There are other ways of doing other numbers as well, but it's not that big of a deal. You realize that this right here primarily is a form of estimating. Not really, because why do you care about being able to do this? Why do you care whether or not you are able to know the divisibility of these numbers? What's the point of this? Why are we studying this, Gigi? Kind of.
So you don't waste your time dividing?
Nope. Here's the deal. Whenever you come up with an answer and the number is a big, huge fraction, like, 412 thirds, wouldn't it be nice if you could tell whether or not that divides evenly? Wouldn't it be nice to know if the answer of this is going to be a whole number? How would you know? What would make it a whole number? What would make this answer here be reducible even? How do you know if it's reducible? Can you reduce that? How do you know? How do you know if this can be reduced or not? Do what?
You add them up.
Add what? Add what up?
The
Sum of the
4,
numbers.
1, 2, and then see if
You
it's
add this up and see if it's divisible by
3.
3. If it is, then you know you need to divide this and make it a whole number. Is 412 divisible by 3?
No.
For 5, it's 7, so it's not. Okay, it's not. Also, what happens, what if it was this? What if it was 411? See, 411 doesn't look like it's divisible by 3. This doesn't look like it would be. But you go, is 411 divisible by 3?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And so all of a sudden, okay, that means I need to go 411 divided by 3 and turn it into a whole number. Does that make sense? It's just kind of a quick way of knowing. What about this? What if I have 68 and 92? And I go, okay, I need you to reduce that. What can you do here? What is something that you could do very quickly? You could go, okay, is that divisible by 10 and 10? If they're both divisible by 10, then I can do that. Is that divisible by 10? No, that means that's not. Is this divisible by 5? No, okay, no. Is this divisible by 3? Nope, because 14 is not divisible by 3. What about 2? Are they both divisible by 2? Oh, divide by 2, divide by 2. 34 and 46. Does that make sense? And then you go over here again and go, okay, is this divisible by 2?
Yes.
Oh, it is. And is this divisible by 2? Yeah, oh, it's 17/23. Does that make sense? You want to have these things, and you want to be able to do them quick in your head so that when you're trying to decide, do I need to reduce this? Is it reducible? You have some tools to help you. Otherwise, I mean, goodness gracious, what about this? What if I give you 693 and 1545? And all of a sudden I go, okay, this is the answer you come up with. And you know that my rule is going to be you have to reduce everything. You have to reduce everything. How do you know? Oh my goodness gracious. How are you going to know whether or not you need to reduce that? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Goodness gracious. So what would you do? What can you do? First of all, you want to check and see if they're both divisible by 10. Are they? No. Are they both divisible by 5? The easy ones are always what? 2, 5, and 10. Because all you have to do is, what is the only thing you have to do to decide if a number is divisible by 2, 5, or 10? Look at the ones place, right? You're looking at the ones place here. 5, 10, or 2? No. 5, 10, or 2, 5. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. If they both aren't divisible by that, then we're done. So that's not true. So then you also you have to look at and go, okay, is it divisible by 3? Is it divisible by 3? Well, let's see. 693 adds up to 18. That one is. And 1545 adds up to 15. That one also is. That means you know that both those can be divided by 3. Just by knowing these quick little divisibility rules, you can go, oh, I need to divide that by 3 and divide that by 3. Now, I'm not saying that this is easy to divide that by 3, but at least you know you have to divide it by 3. Does that make sense? Let's see what happens. That would be a 231 over 515. Okay? Can I reduce this anymore? Let's see. Is that a 2, 5, or 10? No. Then that's not it. Are these both even? No. What about 3? Is 231 divisible by 3?
No.
Yes, it is. 231 is divisible by 3. Answer my question, right? This one is, but is 515? Nope. So then we're done, right? That's going to be it. That's why you do it, so that you can quickly decide whether or not you need to reduce. Now, you're not doing that today. You're not actually reducing anything today, but this is why we're doing it. Now, part of your homework is, turn to page 180. It says, is the first number divisible by the second? What does that mean again?
Like is 37 divisible by?
Right, so like number 1 said, is 20 divisible by 10?
Yes.
How do you know? What's that mean again, to be divisible by? Evenly, no remainder. So is 20 divided by 10 an even number? A whole number? Yes. That means it is divisible by. What about number 3? Is 45 by 5? Yes. What about number 5? 60 by 5? What about number 7? 1468 by 2?
Yes.
How do you? Of course it is. Why? Right. What about number 9? 78 by 9?
No.
Why not? Tell me the reason why not. Why not?
Because when you add the two numbers
When you add up 7 plus 8, it comes out to 15. 15 is not divisible by 9. Oh, okay. Then it's not. What about number 13? Nasty one. Is 13 divisible by 9?
No.
Nope, because 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 9 is 18, plus 4 is 22. Is 22 divisible by 9? No. That means it's not. Does that make sense, Brad?
Do we have to explain? Can we just write yes or no?
Here's the thing. What if you get any wrong? I'm going to be mad. You're going to get any wrong?
I don't know.
Don't get any wrong. Okay, also, here's one other thing you need to know, is factors. We'll talk about this really quick. Factors of a number. Factors of a number is this. If I have the number 20, the factors of 20 are the numbers that are divisible into 20. The numbers that go into 20 evenly. Okay? Factors are numbers that go into that number evenly. So what are the factors of 20? I don't care what number we're talking about. There's always two numbers that belong with a number. There's always two factors of every number. Any integer has two factors. What are those two factors, Brad?
2, 4.
No. Listen, answer my question. There's two factors of every number. There's two factors in every number. What are the two? What are the two factors of every number? Jade? One in itself, right? So we know that two of the factors for 20 are going to be 1 and 20. We know that. Because I don't care what number I'm talking about. If I give you the number 1,479, what are at least two factors for 1,479? 1 and 1,479. Does that make sense? There might be more, but you know that there's at least two. Every number has two, except for, there's exceptions to this. What are the two numbers? 1 doesn't have two factors, and 0 doesn't have two factors, right? Does that make sense? They're the only two the only two exceptions. So for number 20, the two of the factors are 1 and 20. What other numbers go in evenly to number 20, Brad?
Yeah. 1.
What other numbers?
1, 2.
2, 4, 5, 10. Now here's the deal about factors. It's tough to know when you've got them all, when you've got big numbers like 64, 100, it's tough to know when you got them all. But one thing you need to do is this, and I do this all the time. I make rainbows. Every factor has a partner. You realize that, right? Every factor has a partner. If 1 is a factor of 20, it's because 1 times something makes 20. 1 times 20 is 20. If 2 is a factor of 20, it's because 2 times something is 20. 2 times 10. If 4 is a factor of 20, it's because 4 times something is 20. 4 times 5. Does that make sense? There's going to be rainbows here because they're all going to have a partner. If you ever have a number that doesn't have a partner, you're missing one. What I mean by that is this. If I said, what are the factors of 64? There's a lot. What are for sure two of the factors of 64? What are for sure two of them?
64.
And 1. 1 and 64. That's for sure true. We can do our rainbow. That's true. What's another one? We have 2, right? 2 is a factor. Well, who's 2's partner? 32, right? And we need to write that down. Anytime you think of a factor, you have to think of its partner. Otherwise, he's alone. What about, is 3 1? No. 4?
Yes.
Yeah, 4 and
18.
4 and 16. 4 and 16. 5? See, this is another way to do it. This is another reason why you like to know the rules, right? Is 5? How do you know 5's not? Because it doesn't end in 5. Okay, 6? No. Now, how can you do 6 really quick? What would you do here? Because 6 and 64 could be, but like what could you do really quick to determine that it is for sure not? No. Well, why that's true. They're both divisible by 3, and then also even. Well, you know what I did? I saw, what is 6 times 10? 60. And so then 1 plus 6 would be 66. Oh, it skipped it. Does that make sense? That's another thing, is that you can go, okay, if I gave you 124 and said, is that divisible by 6? What you can do here is go, okay, 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 20 is 120. 120 plus 6 is 126. It skipped it. Does that make sense? Those are just the little tiny tricks that you can do in your head to help you know. 7, 8, is 8 1?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. 8's 1. Now, who's 8's partner? 8. You actually put a little rainbow like that. It's himself, right? He gets a little halo, a little thing by himself. Makes sense? That's how you do it. And once you get to the point where the numbers where you're going back down, well, then you know you've got them all. Okay, so there we go. That's the factors of 64. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. You guys try one for me. Try number 80. List the factors of 80. Shh, shh. Now let's see how you did. What are the bookends? What does bookends mean?
The ends.
The bookends is the ends of the bookshelf, right? So what are the two bookends of any number?
One in itself.
One in itself. Good, is 80. Okay, and rainbow. Next one is let's just start going down the list. You start going up. Is 2 a factor of 80?
Yes.
How do you know? 80 is a 0, right? Yeah, well, it's 2 and then 40, right? There's going to be a partner. 2 times 40. What about 3? No. 4?
Yes.
4 is
20.
and 20. Good. What about 5?
Yes.
5 is 5 and what?
16.
Did some of you guys forget 5?
I forgot. I wrote 5 and I forgot the same pen I figured it
What about 6?
out. No.
How do you know?
Because 3 is
Because it's not divided by
Because 80 isn't divisible by 3. That's what you got to do, right? If it's an even number that's divisible by 3, boom. 7. 7? No. 8? Yeah, 8 is, yes. 8 and 10. Now look, what I mean by this is, see, here we go. Get to 8 times 10. That's 1. And then you get the 9. And, okay, that's not. And then you're back to 10. So you know you've got them all once they start doubling up. So then we're here they are. How many of you got all those? 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 16, 20, 40, and 80. You've got to get them all.
I forgot 5.
Bad. Go up the list. I don't care. Start with 1, and you got to get through 10. That's the whole deal, people. That's the whole thing. Another type of question they may ask you is this, and that would be to like on number 39. It says, write the missing digit to make each number divisible by 9. They have 2, 2, and then a big blank, and then 0, 3, 4. What number has to go there to make this number divisible by 9? What are we doing here? We're adding them up. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11, right? What number has to go here to make this thing divisible by 9? To make this whole number here divisible by 9? What did it add up to before? 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. So if I have 11, what else do I have? What do I need to make that? What number has to go here to make this number divisible by 9? Make it a... If I did it a 1, let's look. Let's make it a 1. Is 221,034 divisible by 9? 2 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Is 12 divisible by 9? No. So then 1's not it. What number has to go there? Let's try an 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. Is 19 divisible by 9? No. So it's not 8, it is a 7. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. Is 18 divisible by 9? Yes. What's the answer to this then? What's the answer to this? 7. Do you understand now how to do this? You all understand now how to do that? Your assignment is to do page 180, 1 through 42 even. Okay? That's your assignment.